Hi, welcome to the shittiest vlog opening you've ever seen. Hi, how you doing? I'm doing great because today is October 1st, which means it's the first day of Spookopoly, which is, if you don't know, one of my favorite readathons to have ever existed is Becca's Spookopoly, which was she did 48-hour rounds at first, and then she also has a monthly parts readathons based on Becca Books Bookopoly game, which was a game she played every month to decide her TBR, which is based on Monopoly, but instead of paying properties and building houses, you are collecting reading prompts to decide what books you read, basically. I explained that horribly, but I'll leave Becca's channel linked in the description so you can go check out her videos on this topic. But I have participated in every single round of Bookopoly that I've ever existed. Like I said, in the past she has done 48-hour rounds, she's done monthly rounds, and last year she, for the first time ever, did a monthly round that is also like Halloween themed, like spooky themed. And this year she's doing it again, which yay. I honestly had so much fun participating last year. I did 2 reading vlogs back then, which you can also go check out on my channel if you want. And that's exactly what I'm doing again this year. We're getting a reading vlog halfway through the month, and then at the start of November, basically. So it's split in two, just so it gives me a bit more time. And yeah, let's just immediately get into things because I did wall for I'm doing the wall as you go method because I'm a mood reader baby, and I also think that is the most fun to make a video out of, if I'm being completely honest. But I did my first wall last night so I could decide what I was going to read first, so let me show you that. So yeah, I landed on the past prompt, which means to read a book of your past TBR. Now, I don't typically do TBR, so like this might be a bit of a stretch. I'm going with Blue Lily Blue by Maggie Stiefvater, which I was supposed to read in September. Like I originally set out the whole like last week and a half of September to read the entirety of the Raven cycle because I wanted to do that. And then I don't know, I procrastinated on things, and now I need to read Blue Lily Blue and The Raven King still, but I'm making a reading vlog out of it, so it needs to happen. So I thought this would be a great option. I also got this book in September of 2019, so that means this book has quite literally been on my TBR for 5 years. So you know, we can go further into the past. I thought this would be perfect first read of the readathon, and yeah, I have already started it. I'm 68 pages into it, and I'm really enjoying it. Like, I didn't really like book 2 in the series as much, so I was a bit nervous going into this one because I have read book 1 and 2 before, and they were just rereads this time around, so I was a bit nervous not liking book 2 as much as I remembered. Then going into this book, which would be my first time reading it, I was a bit nervous about it, but I'm generally having such a good time with it so far. I feel like it's gotten a bit dark. I really love just like the atmosphere of it, and I felt on the edge of my seat for this first 68 pages. I read that this morning, and then I kind of spent my entire afternoon and kind of like evening with my mom kind of being couch potatoes because we don't really do that often, but it was fun. It was cozy. That means I haven't gotten any other reading done, and Becca did do reading sprints this afternoon, which I didn't get to participate in because, like I said, I was being a couch potato with my mom. So I thought I'd just rewatch this now and see how much progress I can make in my book further. But before we do that, I also have a bit of a haul, one I'm really excited for. I pre-ordered this book. I don't pre-order books often. That's the Wicked movie tied edition it's by Gregory Maguire. This is an old book. I mean, it's an old book, came out in 1995, according to the copyright page. It's been out for a while, but I'm in love with this like cover of it. I'm a big Ariana fan, so you know I am so excited for the Wicked era, and I really want to read this book. I have been wanting to read it for quite some time, but I have been like kind of like met on it, not the highest priorities, but now with kind of like the movie coming out and having this gorgeous movie tie-in, I am really excited to give it a read. I think I kind of want to keep it till November because I want to do like a whole Wicked vlog of like reading the book and like listening to the musical soundtrack for the first time because I also haven't done that, and maybe watching the movie. I thought that would be like fun. I don't know if I'll be able to go to a movie theater, but like if I can, I think it would be a fun vlog to make. But yeah, this came out today, the movie tie-in, so it was in my mailbox, so I thought I'd show you. So yeah, but this is the book we're actually focusing on today. This vlog is going to be a mess, I can already tell. But yeah, I'm excited about this one. So let's get reading. Okay, so it's been a couple of minutes since I finished Blue Lily Blue, but the second wall took me for a loop, but I'll talk about that with you in a minute. But yeah, I finished Blue Lily Blue by Megan Stevewater. This was honestly such an addicting read. Like, I flew through this. I didn't need reading sprints to help me finish it. It was just so gripping, so atmospheric. I was completely sucked into this. I love these characters, and I find family dynamic within this book is just peak, and I absolutely love them so much. And yeah, this was a 5-star, by the way, because this book was also just incredible. I feel like it upped the stakes for the series really well, and it had this like darker, like eerier vibe to it, which honestly makes it a perfect read for this readathon. And I don't know, I had such a blast reading it, and I thought it was just so incredibly well done. It kept me on the edge of my seat the entire time, and I can't believe this has been on my TBR for this long. You know, like, I could have read this book so much earlier in my life, and I truly did myself a disservice by not doing so. So that's a check. And yeah, then I did my second wall. Here you go. I promise you, this put me in such a crisis. I landed on Ghost Face, which means to read a book with like a word related to sound in the title or series name, which is much more difficult than you could imagine. Like, I've been scratching my head, and like, I already went through my entire physical TBR. Like, I first went through my library books that I have lent out, because they're all like mystery thrillers, because I went to the library with the ID for this readathon, you know, and none of them fit. And then I went through my physical TBR. I technically have 2 books that fit. One is The Savage Son by V. Schwab, and then another one is Speech by Walter Prey, which is a nonfiction. And I'm not really in the mood for either of those right now. So I all of a sudden just started scrambling my very large Nakala TBR. I feel like, because I felt like there had to be something on there, you know, and otherwise I would have resorted to either one of those books. But I did manage to find a book. It's called That Girl's Talking, that's a word related to sound, by Megan Cooley Peterson. This is a YA mystery thriller kind of book. It is pretty late. Like, honestly, it's past 12 a.m. I don't know what I'm telling you. It's the next day. It's the 2nd of October right now. But I do have a little bit more reading sprints left, and I am still wide awake because this book has me just like pumped. So I do think I'll try and read a little of this book and see how far it gets, but I'll talk to you about that tomorrow. Hi, so little update, because last night did not go as expected. So I started reading That Girl's Talking, as I told you about, and then I got 10% in and DNF'd. I am so sorry, but just the writing in this book and me just really did not click. I can't explain it, because I'm not like a writer girly. I don't know anything how to describe writing and anything like that. I don't know, but so I can give you like a detailed account of everything that did not work, but just something about the writing which is so off-putting to me, and I really just like did not click with it. But I thought I would read some Goodreads reviews to kind of see if it was worth pushing through or not, because I have definitely like had books that the writing just like didn't really work for me, and then I just pushed through because I heard that the book was so good. But I checked out some Goodreads review, and like, most people are saying it's like average at best, and the rest are just saying that it's like disappointing all throughout. So I thought it'd be better for my own peace to just DNF. So that's what I did. And you know, Becca has said the DNFs count to fulfill the prompt, so I rolled for a 3rd time already. And for this, I landed on Feed Squall, which I was so nervous about. Because you never know what comes up. Basically, Feed Squall means you open like Goodreads or Instagram or like whatever, and like the first book on your TBR that you see is the book you have to read. So, you know, could go any direction. So I was very nervous for this, but I opened Goodreads, and like literally the first book on my feed, I did not even have to scroll, was fan fiction. I forgot the author's name. I'm so sorry, but like, you'll have it on screen. And you know what? This just came out actually. October 1st was its release date. So it came out yesterday. Abigail Nagali, and I've been so highly anticipating this. It's vampires. And I don't know, I started reading this, only got 7% of the way through to before I just like knocked out, fell asleep. I'm so sorry. But I am so far really enjoying this, but I'll give you more of like a proper update once I'm more into the book. And yeah, I don't know how much reading I'll get done today because it's already like 3:30 p.m. and I have not read a single thing today. It's like almost 3:40 actually. It's been a hectic day. It's a filming day, but I first had to plan my videos that I am filming today, so I'm filming that. I need to edit and upload at least one today, so yay. And then we're going to a comedy show tonight, so I actually don't know how much time I'll have for reading today, but we'll see, and you'll see tomorrow. Hi, buckle in. This is gonna be quite the update because today it's Saturday, which means I haven't updated you for a little bit. So on Wednesday, I, as expected, did not get any reading done. Not a big deal. Like I said, I expected it. What is a big deal is that I did not get done all what I thought I could get done. Like I'm so far removed from finishing my to-do list on Wednesday, so that's less fun. But what was fun was me going to a comedy show. Loved it. Bought a book. Ik mag jullie dan denken bij Jens Donker. We also went to Jens Donker's like comedy show. This is his book that he wrote last year. So yeah, could buy a copy there. I hadn't managed to buy a copy for myself yet, and I'm glad I didn't because look at that, it's signed. Yay me. I love getting signed books. And then on Thursday I was planning to be productive, but then I remembered that Heartstopper season 3 came out. I spent all day watching that instead, and I didn't do a single other thing, which is abysmal, I know. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. I did really love this new season though, but I'll spare you all of the details because this update is already gonna be long enough. And then Friday, yesterday, I spent all day reading fan fiction by Kate Steinman London, and this was a 5-star. I loved it so much. I'm so glad I decided to focus my day on reading it because I was kind of debating between getting stuff done, like finally finishing my to-do list, or reading, and I just was craving a reading day, and I'm very glad I decided to go with reading because this book was just so good. It's like perfect for me. I just love it so much. Like, I don't know, it was a bit silly, a bit ridiculous, but I also thought it was just very well crafted, and I was sucked in, and I just kept reading, and I had such a blast reading it. It also deals with some more hard-hitting topics. I definitely recommend looking into like content-wise and everything before going into this book because it does deal with some more difficult topics, but I feel like it was done in a way that didn't bring down the tone of the book while also still being like very respectful with like the way it dealt with things. And I really loved it. I also thought it had a great romance at the center of it, and it was just so captivating, and I had such a blast. And I don't know, I don't think this book will be for everyone. I do think if this does mildly interest you, I do think that it will be a fun read for you, but overall I don't think it will work as well as it is for me for like most people. But like, this was just my perfect book, so I'm not gonna complain, especially because that means I'm 2 for 2 this month, like 2 5-stars, and I read 2 books. I mean, I do have a DNF, but like when it comes to like books I finished, were both 5 stars. And like, I checked my Zoe graph yesterday after finishing this book. I only have 13 books I rated 5 stars this year, including fan fiction. So, you know, that's a very low amount, especially because I read like 130 something books this year. So like that's very low. It's like less than 10%, and some of those were rereads, so they don't actually count. So the fact that I'm 2 for 2 this month, love it. What I love a little less though is that I had to roll again. No, I didn't mind rolling again, but like the way it turned out, you'll see. Let's delve into things. So yeah, I rolled a double. Abysmal. But let's first talk about what I landed on, which is dice roulette. And basically what this means is that you roll your dice again, and then like the numbers of dots represent the amount of pages you have to read. So I rolled again, and I rolled a 7, which means that I have to read a book that has a page length from 325 to 374, I believe. So, you know, on the shorter side, but still pretty average length. But that I decided to read Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Boulley. This is a book that I actually technically started in September, but I did not get around to finishing, so I was hoping to like whack it in here somewhere. And I finally got to do that because I'm reading this as an ebook through my library, and that edition has 344 pages, which is like smack dab in that middle where I need it to be. This is a YA mystery thriller. Like I said, I already started it. I think I'm about halfway through is where I kind of managed to get through in September, and it's fine. I don't know, I'm not loving it, but I'm having a good enough time, and I feel like the reveals are gonna make or break this book, so I am very excited to keep reading with that. But I have not made any progress because I rolled a double, so I had to roll again. And yes, you saw that correctly, another double. Honestly, bane of my existence. But I did land on chance, which means I have to just technically for chance, it's like you have the chance cards and you write like books on it that you want to read and you don't really want to read, and then you mix them up and then you pick one from the pile. But because I always do this fully digitally, I find that a bit stupid, especially because I have a reel with all the books on my physical TBR on it, and believe me, that's a mix of books I really want to read and books I don't really want to read. So I decided to spin that reel. I did that last night because the doubles had me anxious, and I needed to know. So I just cut to that clip. Okay, please excuse the shit lighting, but I need to know my fate. So I am already gonna spin the reel now. There's 95 books on my physical TBR. I'm really nervous for what this is gonna be, but we're gonna spin it together and figure out. It's really glitchy, I'm sorry. Best case scenario, really, for me. And yeah, I landed on Twaddled by Lauren Asher. Oh, this was best case scenario. You could probably see it on my face. I was so happy. This is a relatively short adult romance. It's Formula One, and I know I read Lauren Asher very quickly, so it just. And I've been meaning. I picked up this series. I bought it like a couple of months ago, like earlier in the year, and I have been meaning to like at least read the first book. Since then, I haven't really gotten around to it, so the fact that I can do this now without a heavy heart, without feeling like I'm like neglecting my reading ability, like my reading responsibilities, makes me feel good. So I am very excited that this is what came up for me. But another double means another wall, so there we go again. And yes, we landed on a TBR vet, and honestly I was gonna try and put all my roles together into one, because this book Twaddled also fits, is 348 pages, so it also fits the first prompt, and I thought I was gonna beautifully blend them all together. But then I landed on TBR vets, and as I said, I only bought this earlier this year. Before that, it never really was on my radar because other Lauren Asher books just intrigued me more. Formula One romances don't say anything to me, but because I really enjoyed other Lauren Asher books earlier this year, I decided to check out the series as well. So that's absolutely not a TBR vet, and therefore I had to look for something else, and therefore like I also decided that each challenge should get his own book to make it more fair, instead of just like doubling up on 2 prompts and not all 3, because that's like the option you have when you roll as you go. You either double up on all the prompts or you like pick different books for it, if that makes sense. I decided to pick different books for it. And for TBR vets, I picked up The Raven King by Maggie Stiefvater. Yes, I can finally finish this series. I'm so excited. I originally read book 1 and 2 in this series in 2016, and that's the amount of time I've been wanting to finish this series. I only getting around to it now, but you know, it's been a long time coming. So this definitely is a TBR vet, and I'm so excited. This is another one that I got as an ebook from my library, and I'm just, you know how much I love Blue Lily, you know how much I love Blue Lily Lily Blue. So I am so excited to delve into this last book, even though I have heard some mixed reactions to it. A lot of people think this kind of failed to stick the landing, but I am still incredibly hyped to be reading this book. Like, this honestly is the book that's like top on my mind right now. Like, if there's a place on the board that says mood read. If I would land on that, this would have been my pick because it's just what I wanted to read the most right now. So I'm glad I got to like slide it in for another prompt as well. Those are my 3 current reads. I'll be tandem reading those 3 books. I don't know yet exactly how this is gonna go, but I'll only roll again if I finish all 3 books, so it will probably take a little while to get that roll. But again, this one is one that fits within that page limit that I needed, so it's also a relatively quick read, as other books in the series were for me. So I am hoping that reading these 3 books won't take me too long. But yeah, I did already start on Twaddled this morning. I didn't get very far in, only 28 pages, but I do have a day of filming and editing in front of me, so while things are like exporting and stuff, I think I'll be making a bit more of a dent in this one, and then probably before going to bed I'll probably pick up the Raven King or Firekeeper's Daughter. I don't know yet, but yeah, we'll see how things go. Hi, so it is currently Sunday evening, so I didn't update you anymore yesterday. I apologize, but I did finally did everything off my to-do list. A bunch of it also like spilled over into today, but everything's done. And honestly, I was nuts with the to-do list I gave myself this week. Like, so many things just like took longer than I originally expected. Therefore, it's taken me the entire week to actually get through it, when I expected it to take a couple of days instead. But the to-do list is checked off, so I am free as a bird. Means also the last day of the week, but like I also don't have too much on next week, so we'll get a lot of reading done hopefully. But I did, as I said, read Twaddled in between things, and I'm currently 100 pages into this. Like I said, I read this like in between me like exporting videos, like uploading, so oftentimes sometimes I'm also doing something else for like another video, because that's just the cookie crumbles. I have to work on a couple. So 100 pages is actually a very decent amount for the time that I actually had. And so far, I don't know how to feel about this book yet. I feel like it's obvious that this is Lauren Asher's debut. I feel like the writing in this book is just so stiff, and at times just it doesn't really flow nicely. And when it comes to like certain dialogue moments, I'm like, this just feels a bit like stilted and a bit unnatural in that sense. So therefore, I don't know, I'm not completely vibing with it. On top of that, this is also like extremely installist, and it seems to be between like all of the characters. And not just our 2 protagonists. We even have mentions of like 2 characters meeting at a certain point, and like our main character immediately going like, oh, they were like immediately eye fucking each other, and like it was obvious that they were like attracted and like making like sexual innuendos with each other. And I'm like, sex is really in the air with these people. Like, everybody is so fucking horny. It is actually kind of painful to read. Because it also just like feels unrealistic. And when it comes to like our 2 main characters, Maya and Noah, they again, it's insta-lust immediately. All they have done over these pages is lust over each other, and it's kind of just, I don't know, I don't like it when you can't have one conversation with each other without constantly thinking like, oh, I'm imagining them under me, or like, I don't know. I'm not vibing with this so far. I am hoping that this will be a quick read, and maybe towards the end I'll like it a bit more, because like I said, I really like Lauren Asher's other books, but this so far is just like really not working for me, and I'm hoping that this is just because it's her debut, so she had some kinks to work at. Not kinks, this book is too sexual to to mention the word kinks in that context, but you know, I hope that because it's a debut, there are some stuff that she just had to work through, and like in the rest of the series gets better. But I just not really vibing with this. Also, I'm not like a Formula One person. I don't know if I said that or not. And it's quite focused on the sport quite a bit. You know, I've had a lot of sport romances, and typically like the sport is like a decent small enough part to it that I can like still enjoy it despite not knowing anything about the sport. But I sometimes definitely feel lost in this book, not necessarily because it doesn't, I know what's going on, it explains things well enough, but I'm just like, I don't care. Now I kind of for the night want to switch over to one of my ebooks, but I've been debating which one I want to start with, because I desperately want to get Firekeeper's Daughter off my currently reading shelf. Like, that would be such a satisfying thing to tick off, but like I also desperately want to read The Raven King, so I don't know what direction we're going in. You'll learn in the next clip, I guess. I don't know, I talk to you, like you won't figure out in like a second. I'm the one to make the decision. Hi, how you doing? It is Monday. Yay! And I promised you last night that I didn't know what ebook to start yet, but I decided to continue on with Fire Daughter's Keeper. Nope, Fire. I decided to. But I decided to continue on with Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Boulley just a bit more. I kind of had like a little goal set in mind of when to stop and go back to to go to sleep at a normal hour for once in my life. But that did not end up happening because apparently that target I set myself was kind of like the start of all the reveals happening. So then I just, I had to keep reading. And I finished it. So there we go. I think when I originally said I was going to read this book or like finish it because I already started, I said that how this would my rating for this book would depend very much on if it would stick to landlady or not. And I am very sad to report that this was a 2-star and therefore did not stick to landlady to me. I don't know. I feel like this book was very interesting and a lot of interesting concepts. And for most of my time reading this book, it was setting at a 3-star and depending on the ending, it would either push it into a 4 or down into a 2. So, that shows that I did have a decent enough time reading this book. I just thought it was a bit slow, a bit repetitive. It was a bit of a slog. I hate to say that, but I feel like it took us so long to like get from point A to point B to point C. It took such a long time to like have things happening in between things happening that it just, I don't know, it felt a bit boring to me. But I was like, maybe, I love a good slow mystery if that means that that ending is going to be like so impactful and everything is going to make sense. And sadly, that wasn't really the case with this book. I feel like the reveal in this one was extremely predictable, and this is the way it was executed. It kind of made the main character just like seem very dumb for not figuring it out any sooner because it seemed so obvious to me. So it kind of was sad that was the direction we ended up going in. Then there are some aspects to that reveal that I just feel like weren't explained well enough, and in the end there is kind of like a message of sometimes it's better to not know certain stuff, which valid, but I do need to know a little bit more to just make sense of some parts of this reveal. But yeah, today's plan is to read Twaddled a bit more during the day, and then tonight I'm going to start Raven King, which I'm so excited for. Hi, how are you doing? It is Saturday evening, so I haven't updated you in the longest time. I'm so sorry, but like this week, I don't know what it was. I was just feeling like very blah and just, I don't know. I really just did not want to be in front of a camera, so I have not been doing that. But I have been reading a shitload, so I thought I should update you before reading more. Because as soon as I stop recording this update, I'm going to reading again. But you deserve an update. You genuinely do. This is already gonna be long enough. If I remember, I was gonna say if I remember correctly, I'm last day with you on Monday, which I don't know. I was gonna say that because I literally have my planner right here, so I can check and make sure I don't forget anything. But yeah, last day I have an update vlog check on is on Monday, so it's been a while. On Tuesday, I actually finished my first book, and that's Twaddled by Lauren Asher, and I ended up giving this 1 star. As you could have probably tell from my previous updates, I just really did not like this book. I thought the writing was just very stiff and just like it didn't flow, and the dialogues just felt very realistic. This was like too overly sex heavy, and like just for a romance I didn't vibe with that because I need that emotional connection as well, and I feel like that wasn't present in this one. I also just feel like we didn't really know our characters that much, and what we did get to know of the guy I hated. So yeah, I truly do not have a positive word to say about this book, and if it wasn't for the fact that I had loved other Lauren Asher books before or owned the rest of the series, I probably would have DNF'd this because this just really was not good. And I generally would love to know people's thoughts on the rest of the series because now I'm kind of hesitant to continue on with it. And then on Wednesday, I finished The Raven King by Maggie Stiefvater. This ended up being a 3-star for me. I totally get why this is kind of like the least hyped book in the series that most fans don't like. This truly, the word for this book is underwhelming. Like everything about this was so underwhelming. I feel like for a really large chunk of this book, not a whole lot happened. And considering this is a series finale, and we do have a lot to wrap up, that just felt like an odd decision to make. And then the way things were wrapped up just were a bit unsatisfactory, and I wasn't the biggest fan of. But yeah, there was still like everything I love about the series is still present in this book, so anything lower than a 3 star it would never be, but like it really is a womp womp. That's the best way to describe it. So yeah, because I finished The Raven King, I finished my 3 reading prompts, and therefore I have some new walls for you. So yeah, it was another double. Life really hates me, but we landed on black, and for that I decided to read A Dark and Drowning Tide by Alison Saft, just for the sole reason that I read another Alison Saft book earlier this year and absolutely loved. So I've been very highly anticipating this one. It is a YA fantasy. No, it's not. It's a sapphic fantasy, and I, I've been so excited to read this. It's a Getting Up from That Galley. It's a black cover, perfect fit for the prompt, but because I had a double, of course I had to roll again. So yet another double. This board just really hates me, but we landed on Bram Stoker, which means to read either a book by Bram Stoker or a book featuring vampires. So, you know, I decided to read a book featuring vampires. I had a lot of options for this one, but I decided to go with My Vampire Plus One by Shanna Levine. This is not a guy from that guy who came out last month, just like the other book that I talked about earlier. And it is a adult paranormal romance. It's a vampire romance, it's fake dating, it's right up my alley, and I just thought I would need like a fun romance in the mix as well. And because it was another double, I rolled again. And for this, I landed on the prompt Shirley Jackson, and this prompt is to read a book by Shirley Jackson or a book with a building on the cover. And I know for like my little graphic that I popped up, the cover does not have a building on it, but for the Dutch copy, which is the one I have, it very much does. This is 0 Days by Ruth Ware. This is an adult mystery thriller. It's a book from the library, which is great because I got a bunch of mystery thrillers from the library for this readathon, and I haven't been able to get to them. I haven't been able to fit them in for a prompt, so I felt just so happy when this came up. So yeah, this is what I be reading for that prompt. So yeah, another 3 prompts in one go. This board really just like hates me. I've never had this happen before. It is the worst. So yeah, on Thursday my grandparents came to visit unexpectedly, so I did not get any reading on that day. I did spend a lot of time reading on Friday, but I didn't manage to read a book. But then today I finished some books. Starting off with My Vampire Plus One by Jenna Levine. This one I ended up giving a 3-star to. I thought this was just like a fun romance. I do think it was a bit like insta-lovey and just like moved very quickly in that apartment, but I had a lot of fun reading it. It was very readable. I didn't really want to put this book down. I just flew through it. I kind of really liked the vampire lore within this book as well. Thought it was fun. I had a couple of chuckles as well. I liked the characters fine enough. There are some things with the writing that I can't fully explain what I didn't like about it, but it just, I don't know, at times it also just like didn't really flow the best. And I do feel like when it comes to like the plot of this book, like besides the romance, like the storyline of it, I just feel like it was extremely predictable. And I don't know, I'm not like I wanted like a very twisty turny book, because that's not what this is. This is a romance, but I feel like everything was just so obvious that it just made our character seem stupid, and like that's never a good thing to have. And then I also finished 0 Days by Ruth Ware, which honestly was a bit of a surprise because I only got like just under 100 pages into this yesterday. I read like most of My Vampire Plus One, and I just finished that up. But like I flew through this book. This went by so quickly, and it's ended up being a 4-star for me, which is a bit of a surprise because if you remember my Can Actually Like With Rare books, I had 1 4-star in that, and then a 3 and a 2, and then previously I've only had 2 stars from With Rare. So the fact that I found it out of 4, especially within 0 Days, which I feel like is a very disliked book by Ruth Ware, I feel very proud of that. But honestly, I just thought this was a whole lot of fun. Is this like a perfect mystery thriller? No, but like the setup for this is just so interesting. This follows a woman named Jack who, together with her husband, has this company in which they basically are professional thieves. They break in to like offices and like companies to like check holes within the security so they can like fix that up, you know. It's like ethical hacking and ethical like breaking in, because and she does like the physical stuff, he does the hacking. And then after she comes home from a job one day, she finds her husband dead at home, murdered, and very quickly like the police very much suspect her, and then like point that things are pointing towards her, but she's like, I did not do this. And so she goes on a run to try and figure out what happened to her husband. And I feel like that premise was so interesting because just first of all, having like that extra stakes of being on the run and constantly having to evade the police and having like restricted access in your research because you can't like be pinged anywhere because the police can't find you, I thought was a very interesting twist to a mystery like this. And on top of that, having them in characters whose little job it is to break into places, and like even though like normally she is invited to do that, she does have these skills and she's using that now without being invited places. I feel like this was very interesting and made for a very just like intriguing read. Like this flew by so quickly. I read this so quickly. I did not want to put it down. It was just very compulsive, if that makes sense. Like I wanted to keep going and I had so much fun with it. Now I do think the ending I wanted just a little bit more from. I feel like it didn't wrap things up in the way I wanted to. It leaves things a bit too open-ended for me. But overall I had a blast with this. So yeah. Anyway, that brings you all caught up to my reading exploits. I hope you don't mind me just like throwing so much information at you in one update, but like I said, I just was not feeling vlogging this week, so this is what you get. It is only like 9 p.m. right now, so I have a lot of time left to read in the evening, so I will be doing that. And I'll be making my way through A Dark and Drowning Tide by Alison Saps because that's the only book right now that I still have left. You know, when on Wednesday I rolled, I was like, oh god, 3 prompts again is like gonna take me so long. And like I read 2 of those books in like one day basically. So we're moving. Hi, how are we doing? I'm not doing great because I DNF'd Dark and Drowning Tide by Alison Saft. It's a sad moment because, as you know, I was excited for this book. I only got like 13% of the way through, but my brain is not meshing with the writing, as in it's just like glossing over everything and I'm not retaining anything. So I thought it was the wisest decision to DNF because this will not end well. Who knows, maybe in the future I'll return to it and it will mesh with my brain, but like right now it just seemed like the smartest decision to not do that. So yeah, good news, I got to roll again. And yeah, no doubles, we landed on chance. So, you know, the universe may still screw me over because I've done many videos with this wheel. It isn't always kind to me. So let's just hope it will be now. Let's just spin and see what happens. No bullshit. It's glitching. I don't know if that's good news or bad news. What even does it say? Oh! Best of news. Best of news. This is Wrath of the Triple Goddess. Wrath of the Triple Goddess is the new Percy Jackson book. This came out towards the end of September and I didn't get around to squeezing this book in before the end of the month. I've been like desperately hoping that I would land on like a space on the spookoplathon board that this could easily fit for, and sadly enough that hasn't worked out yet, but that's the same book, bitch. So odds are definitely in my favor. Oh, I'm so excited for this. It's a good one. It's such a good one. Hi, it's Wednesday. I'm so sorry for not Wednesday, it's Tuesday. Wow. Hi, it's Tuesday evening, so I again haven't updated you for a couple of days, but on Saturday evening I read just like a tiny bit more because I did all of a sudden just get really tired, and then on Sunday and Monday I just like haven't been feeling the greatest. I feel like I'm getting sick. I'm not entirely sure, but I think I'm getting sick. So on Sunday I ended up watching like a bunch of my shows. I had a great time just watching episodes. I started watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer as well on Sunday, which I feel like it's necessary to mention because Becca, the host of this readathon, loves Buffy, so I feel like that's perfectly on team, and also just like, you know, the show is perfect Halloween vibes, so it works that way as well. And then Monday I ended up binging a bunch of movies. I was planning on actually getting some reading done, but I just my stomach was a bit upset. Like I said, I think I'm getting sick. I'm not entirely sure because it's not breaking through, and I've been feeling off for like a couple of days now. And then today, I spent all day reading The Wrath of the Triple Goddess, obviously. And I honestly, I wanted to update you more about reading this, but I was filming my spoiler vlog for it, and I thought I was gonna get things way too confused if I did that. So now you're just getting a beautiful wrap up at the end, and this was 5 stars. Again, I love this. I honestly, when first it was announced that there were going to be more Percy books, I was a bit nervous about it, but these have just been so lovely so far. It feels very cozy fantasy. This one in particular is just a Halloween ghosty adventure, and it's really fun in that sense, but it also is very focused on kind of like that time family aspect to it, which makes it just like a very heartwarming read as well. And of course, if you love Percy, you'll love these because they're just like a story that needed to be told, as now Percy, Annabeth, and Grover are a bit older, and it just focuses on the 3 of them, and it's lovely. I just have such a great time reading these books every single time. And yeah, that's all I have for you for this vlog, because it's the 15th, which means we're halfway through the month. This video is going up tomorrow. Hopefully, if I get it edited in time, because I have quite a lot of clips for it. So we're halfway through the readathon. I have read now 8 books. This is my 8th book, because I have 2 DNFs, 10 balls, 2 DNFs, 3 5 stars as well, which is a miracle. Like, this year has been so abysmal for 5 stars for me. So the fact that I have 3 in 1 month, and I'm only halfway through the month, the board has me blessed. Anyway, the next roll will be in the next video, which will come out at the beginning of November. It most likely will be my first video of November, just because that's the easiest for me. And it will contain the second half of the readathon, and I'll start it off with like a wall, which honestly is perfect. I didn't plan for this to go this way, but now that I finished this, it seems like the perfect way to start the next vlog. So yeah, there you go. This is a bit rambly. Let me know in the comments what you thought of any of the books I read in this vlog, what you thought of them. Love to discuss, as well as you're participating in Spookopoly. I would love to know how the board has been treating you and how it has gone for you. And then hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye.
Here I am again, the same old situation. Why does the God thing have to be so complicated? Should've played